Hi, I'm Jeff Stelling, and this is football's greatest Euros. Paul Merson is alongside me. Each week we've been discussing the games, the goals, and the headlines from the tournament. Coming up, Gareth Southgate has resigned as England manager. We discuss that, who should come next, and what went wrong for England against Spain. Welcome to football's greatest Euros. So, Merse, Gareth Southgate's gone. Are you surprised?
I am, as it goes, yeah. Yeah, I am. Because one, you look and you think, where's he going to get another job at the moment? Two, there was no real rush. It's not like England have not got another game in a month or two. I think go away on holiday with the family, sit back, have a look and judge it. I think it's to do it straight after, it's a bit sharp in my opinion, unless he looks and think it probably did take its toll to stick it. You know, the team would get in. He probably thinks, I don't need this anymore.
Yeah, I just wonder whether the performances made his position untenable, really, that anything other than winning was failure.
Yeah, but the FA will be happy. Do you know what I mean? They're getting to finals, you know, they're competitive, they're in there.
But we don't care about the FA. The fans don't care about the FA.
We don't, but the fans will turn up. There'll still be 100,000 at the next England game at Wembley, you know, and there's still, you know, it's the FA. The FA, they'll make money, they keep them getting into finals, they're competitive now. You know, you've got to remember 15, 20 years ago, you know, when we had this great team of players, we never got anywhere.
Do you think that 100,000 would have turned up at Wembley to watch England in their next game if Gareth had still been in charge?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's England. You know, every kid wants to go and watch England. That's why I don't see why it's at Wembley, if I'm being honest. I think the stadium should have been in Birmingham because, you know, if you're a young Geordie kid, you know, to get down to Wembley is ridiculous. It is ridiculous on a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock kickoff. So, you know, I think back in the Midlands, if they had Wembley there. But yeah, the FA would have kept him 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. They wouldn't have worried about the way we played and everything. They just want to make sure they're competitive, filling out Wembley and getting into later stages of the competition.
We'll talk about the Euros in a moment and how England performed and what his responsibilities were and who might replace him. But first of all, let's just look back at, you know, his legacy, what he leaves behind. I mean, there is no doubt that over the years, he's done a lot of good. Yeah.
It's timings. You know, I go back to it all the time. You know, Colin Montgomery surely would have won a major if Tiger Woods wasn't around. You know, you can't really... Who would have been heavyweight champion? These people now, would they have been heavyweight champion if they were around when Mike Tyson was world champion at his pomp? And this is the thing, it was the right time. We've missed a trick, in my opinion.
It's the same with Andy Murray, isn't it? You know, Murray was born at the same time as Djokovic and Nadal and Federer.
Exactly, 100%. And in its timings, it is timings. You know, you look at Alcaraz now, he's coming in just at the right time. You know, all the others are beating each other up. They've been going, and all of a sudden Alcaraz comes in now. I'm not saying he's not a great player, but his timings, you know, Steve Collins, great boxer, but he'd come in after Eubanks, Watson and Ben had fought each other, do you know what I mean, for a long time. So it's timings. I just think the draw has won it for us. We've missed a trick. You know, I look at other countries and they go, Germany, right, didn't work. Rip it up, go. France, rip it up, go. Spain, 1-1-1, not done anything, rip it up, start again. You know, this time Spain have gone back and done what they usually do. They pass the ball. But what they've done this time, they've got two wingers. They've got two electric wingers on the either side. So they've revolved. I just think with England, this was it. You know, the other teams haven't got world-class players. You know, we got all the best players, or so-called best players, and we haven't won it, and we haven't played anybody. We haven't played.
And when Gareth looks in the mirror, isn't he going to think, that's down to me? Because we could have played the way Spain played. We've got wingers as well. You know, we've got Anthony Gordon, didn't get a kick. We've got Eberechi Eze, virtually didn't get a kick.
I said this at the start. If you go back on the first podcast, the problem was he had too many players. Sometimes you don't want too many players. Spain didn't have too many players. Germany didn't. No one had the players that we had. You know, we're still sitting here now going, you know, you just reeled off them players. They'd virtually get in everybody else's team. But it's to keep on, you know, changing at the right time. You know, Percy, Gareth, I think he got too close to the players. I think his relationship with the players was tight. I don't think that can happen. I can't imagine Sir Alex Ferguson's being like that. I definitely tell you, Jules Graham's wasn't like that. I think you've got to, sooner or later, you've got to move away. And I think they were too solid. They were like friends, the players and the manager. And that's a good thing. It is a good thing when you're winning all the time and you're doing. But when it comes to, the one-off situation this time round where Harry Kane wasn't fit, relationship was too tight, in my opinion.
Yeah, the word that everybody always uses about Gareth is nice. But he was too nice, wasn't he? Not ruthless, which is what he needed to be.
Yeah, and I think he'll look back on that now. I think he'll look back when he's on holiday and think, you know what, I've done this my way and I didn't do it my way in the last... I just don't think he made them decisions. I didn't like the way he said about Harry Kane after the game. We couldn't get Harry up to speed. Why didn't you tell us that in the semi-final and the quarter-final and the last 16 and the 3 group games? He could have said that. Do you know what I mean? I think Harry could have dropped out for 1 or 2 of them games, got fit, worked hard in training or rested him up and done what they did with Luke Shaw, really. And I don't think we'd have had any question. No one moaned that Luke Shaw played. And I don't think no one would have moaned if Harry Kane missed 2 or 3 games and then come back.
So Dan Harvey asked the question, why was Kane undroppable, however badly he played? It was just the closeness to the manager.
I think that it's the closeness and the knowing what he can do. The knowing what he can do. And that's the problem. That's the problem. And because he played him all the time, he knew no different. How many friendlies have we had at Wembley? Or how many times have we played a team that we're going to beat 5 or 6-0 like a San Marino or, these fifth tier nations, and Harry Kane plays. And we sit there and we go, why is Harry Kane playing tonight? We know what Harry Kane can. And I just think he got used to it. And I just think it become the norm. And he didn't know any different. He just didn't know any different. I think he'll look back now and he'll be gutted. I think he'll be gutted that he didn't make that decision. And I don't blame Harry. It's once in a lifetime. It might not happen again. God bless him. Hopefully he don't. But he could get injured next week and not make the next World Cup. And then that's it. And this was a big opportunity.
But Tony in London's asked a question. He said, didn't Kane's performances frustrate his teammates? And we've seen the story coming out in the media at the moment to say that Jude Bellingham had a row with Gareth Southgate on the touchline, seemingly over the fact that Harry Kane was still on the pitch.
Well, he was fortunate. That's choice. That is choice coming from Bellingham. I sit there now. What did he do? He scored the overhead kick. I didn't think he affected any football match.
He scored the first goal against Serbia.
Scored the first goal, good goal, and then he scored the overhead kick. Harry Kane, he got joint top goal scorer. But I can understand we didn't have any movement. But when Harry Kane comes, Foden and Bellingham have got to be prepared to run the other way. No one run the other way.
Sure, but however poorly or otherwise Bellingham's playing at the time, he's seeing it through unjaundiced, unbiased eyes, if you like. He's seeing how poor Harry Kane is and telling the manager what he can't see. But you know what it's like. You've been a manager. Sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees.
Yeah, you can get involved in it and you just sit there with hope. You put him on the pitch. There's a saying, get your best players on the pitch. Get your player, Brian Clough, God bless him, used to write his best team down, put it in the drawer, and when it weren't going well, open that drawer and have a look at that team, because it might not be winning, but it's the best. It's your best team, so go back to your best team. That's why he left Harry on. There was Harry wasn't getting in the box. There was no movement. They were lumping balls. How many times did we lump the ball in the final? No, come on. Pickford's come on, he's better than that, Pickford. We're playing with one of the best playing centre halves in the world of football in John Stones.
Surely he's been told to do that. He's not going to be doing that off his own bat.
But surely not that many times. I mean, I haven't seen a struggling Premier League team do that many times in the last 10 years. And I watch a lot of football, every Saturday, Soccer Saturday. I watch it every Saturday. I watch relegation teams. I watch teams that are struggling, like a Burnley. Ain't kick the ball like they did. It was mind-blowing. You know, just literally kicking it up to Harry Kane. He couldn't do anything, and then they were just starting again. Surely, if Gareth's saying that, there's got to be enough experience in the team to say, wait a minute, we need to try and play out here. We've got to take a chance.
I mean, obviously for Harry, 13 touches in the final, only 1 in the opposition box. Is he done at this level of the game?
No, I'm hoping he was injured. I'm hoping he was injured, you know, and I think, I hope not. I hope not. I still think he's top draw. Is it the German league? I don't know. Is it the German league? A year away from the Premier League, you know, sharpness. I know he scored 1 million goals, but that German football, you know, you see the scores, they just open the game up. You know, bottom of the German league they'll go to Bayern Munich and get beat 7-2. You know, it ain't 0-0. You know, they don't sit back. I hope he's injured. I don't mean that in a horrible way, but I hope he's injured because, you know, I'm one of his biggest fans, and you know, I just couldn't believe what I was watching. And if I was playing where Foden was playing and Bellingham, I would have been gutted because I'm relying on you. I know you're relying on me to get you the ball, but I need movement. And there wasn't it. I mean, John Stones got the ball once and run with it. He had to beat 3 players and run 30, 40 yards with it. And he lost it in the end, but there was nothing gone. Nothing gone.
You mentioned Jude Bellingham, so we may as well come on to him. We barely touched on him so far. Came into the tournament as a Champions League winner, a golden boy reputation. Why do you feel that he didn't deliver? Too soon? Or?
Yeah, I think so. I think at the same time, he's a young kid. He missed the end of last season. Not this season, just gone the season before. He missed the end of the season at Dortmund. So he missed quite a bit of football just towards the end. Then he comes to Spain, he's fresh. No one really knows him. You know, can't imagine too many Spanish people watching a lot of the German football over there. He comes, he hits it by storm. 17 goals in 20 games, bombing in the box, can't stop him, unreal. All of a sudden he gets to Christmas, and all of a sudden it's Bellingham here, Bellingham there, Bellingham here. Now all of a sudden they're playing Cadiz or Real Betis or an Atletico Bilbao, and in the team talk now, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we've got to stop this kid Bellingham. Got to stop, not Vinicius Junior or Rodri, you know, or Mudryk or Cruz. Now it's all of a sudden we got to stop Bellingham. And everybody stopped him. He got 5 goals, I think, for the rest of the year. From Christmas onwards, I think he got 5 or 6 goals. You know, he's got to come up with solutions. This is why you talk about your people like your Ronaldos, your Messis, you know, your Ryan Giggs, people like that. They were year in, year out, and they were stopped. You know, people had to try and stop them playing, and they still come up with solutions. And that's where you have, he's got to come up with solutions. It's going to be hard for him next year. Believe me, if he performs next year at the same level, I'll be like, wow, you're special, because he will get stopped playing, and he's got to come up with ideas.
I mean, there's been a lot of criticism of him for his attitude and, if you like, his arrogance, right from the who else celebration and after the defeat in the final. You know, he's gone over and very publicly kicked the ice box and things like that. Is that just a thing that goes down to the fact that he is a star? He knows he's a star. He's a young kid as well. You know, do we expect his behaviour to be too perfect?
I think you hit the nail on the head, the last bit. He's young. He's a young kid. He's a young kid, and it's all come bang. You know, you got to remember, he was at Birmingham, you know, championship team, you know what I mean? He goes to Dortmund, they nearly win the league. He's been a success. You know, gone to Real Madrid, won the Champions League. He's playing at probably the biggest club in the world. It's quick. It's happened quickly for him. But he's a leader. He is a leader, you know, and you don't take that away from him. You know, fair play to him.
And goodness me, we need some leaders out there.
100%. And he goes over to Gareth. You know, no, believe me, no other 21, 22-year-old in their wildest dreams would do that. No, you know, I'm like Tony Adams. I was fortunate to play with Tony. He was a leader. You know, you see your John Terrys, your Roy Keanes. I imagine them going over. But there ain't too many other people. You know, so we don't want to take that away. We don't want to, you know, we have a problem in England. We build people up just to knock them down, you know. And why shouldn't he be confident? You know, my boy's like that. I hope he has that confidence and that bit of arrogance about him. You need that. If you want to be top draw, you know, you've got to have that. And so, But he's a young kid. He's just a young lad at the time, and he'll learn.
Was that a problem in the whole tournament, that we didn't have a real leader on the pitch? You know, John Stones played well. He's not what you call a leader, though, is he? Harry Kane's having a bad time personally, so wasn't setting any sort of example. We didn't have any leaders, did we?
No, and I thought Rice, thought would have been a leader, but he was sort of having to look after his game because it weren't great. You know, he wasn't amazing as what he's been for Arsenal. So a lot of players, the bigger players, were trying to look after their game. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, maybe Stones was looking after Gay. I don't know. You know, I don't play at centre-half, but, you know, so he might have been talking him through the game, but Harry Kane would have been, you know, it'd have been hard for Harry. You know, he'd have been hurting, and he's looking after his game, so it's hard for him. And it's the hardest thing of being a leader is having a go at people and digging people out when you're not playing well. And that's what I loved about Tony. Like, we come in the dressing room at half time or at full time, and Tony would have had a stinker, and he'd still come in and pick people out and go, that ain't good enough, and you sit there and think, well, you weren't good, but he'd still say it. That's hard to do. You know, people usually come in, they put their head down and think, I've had a nightmare. I'm not shouting out today. And that's what he'd done. And, you know, maybe Harry Kane should have done that, but fair play to Bellingham. Don't take that away. That's the one thing he doesn't want to do.
So who was responsible? Was it Gareth? Jamie Carragher said it's the players. Who do you think was responsible for the fact that we did not come back as European champions?
Well, we're very fortunate to start with that we got the right draw, because it would have been home a lot quicker. It's been proven. You know, as soon as we play a decent team, we're a million miles behind. Depends what you just said. Is if Gareth Southgate telling Pickford to kick that ball every time he gets it virtually? Is he telling him to do that? If he's telling him to do that, it's Gareth's fault. If he's not telling him to do that and they're just doing that because they can't get out, then I got to go with the players. But I don't see us winning it now. I just don't. I've gone a bit the other way now. I used to sit there and think we're going to win every time, but we've played 4 or 5 teams in the last 4 or 5 tournaments, and every time we come up against a good team, we've got well beat. And we got well beat. 2-1 was a nice score, wasn't it? In the end, it was a night. You know, it was like 2-1 ain't bad, and we had we was allowed to have a cheer up at 1-1, which was nice. But I agree with Jamie Carragher. This is not the greatest job in the world anymore. You know, I thought that people would be queuing around the corner for this job. I don't think there'll be a lot of people queuing around the corner.
Well, for £5 million a year?
You have the 5 million, but you ask Gareth. Gareth's resigning for one reason only: the stick. If it was all right, he would have carried on. It's not a problem. But he knows he knows he'll turn up the next game and he'll get stick if we don't win 5-0. You know, you got to remember, these players are good players. I said it in the thing before. They're top players, but they're playing with top players. Foden plays with top players. He's a good player, but Foden needs as much people running off the ball like a Haaland. You know, he does, and that's what happens. You know, you look at Kevin De Bruyne, hardly done anything. He ain't got Haaland up front. He ain't got Foden getting in the pocket for Belgium. Do you know what I mean? He ain't got all that. He ain't got Rodri giving him the ball every time he gets it. You know, you've got to remember, you know, it's all right getting these players, a load of good players together, but they don't all play the same. They don't all play the same way.
But there were so many of them, weren't there, who underachieved, you know, not just Harry Kane. I mean, you mentioned Phil Foden, who's an obvious one. Kyle Walker, I've rarely seen him have as many poor games. Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham. Is it just coincidence that they all underachieved at the same time? Or is it simply what you say, that they play with better players on a week-by-week basis?
Yeah, I think
so. They're all pretty good players. They're playing with each other.
Yeah, but you still got to have them certain players. You know, I feel sorry for Phil Foden. I felt sorry for Phil Foden. You know, we've seen it with Phil. He can play, but when you play where he plays, you are so reliant on the centre forward. You are so reliant. If you're playing as a number 10 and you're playing there, you're relying on that person up front and their movement. And when they put that movement, you know, you see when Watkins come on, for the next 10 minutes as Watkins come on, everybody started getting the ball. And people were going, oh, we're playing now. We weren't just playing. They were more worried. Laporte and people like that were more worried. The centre-halves were more worried about Watkins going that way. So they stretched the game. Then we started getting on the ball. And that's what happened. And that's what, then he takes Foden off. Take Foden off. Keep Foden on. Do you know what I mean? I just, he takes Mainu off. I've felt sorry for Mainu, but at least he tries to get on it. At least he was trying. Do you know what I mean? You can't touch the ball as many times. It's frustrating. Someone said to me the next day, "Oh, you're all right." I had to go somewhere up to for an appointment, and they went, "Oh, you're all right." About it, I said, "I'm used to it now. I've had it when I was playing, and it just carries on now. It just carries on. It's." Sometimes it's better if we just go out early.
Stop it. That's the last thing that we want. I mean, look, there were some players who enhanced their reputation, weren't there? I mean, not many.
Yeah.
But I guess Gahey would be one.
I think Gahey, definitely. But I thought he was outstanding, very good. I didn't think Stones done anything wrong.
Yeah.
I thought Stones was solid.
He improved as the tournament went along, didn't he?
He's a top player. What's a criminal in football terms is we couldn't pass the ball out, and we've got one of the best in the business in him. That was worrying. So then I have to start looking at the midfield and going, well, if we can't pass out, why are the midfield not making space or making angles and getting on the half turn? Bellingham come with a reputation, didn't perform, and it is hard. It is hard. People would have said, stop Bellingham playing. We got to stop him playing. But he works for the team. Foden, you could be Maradona playing at number 10. If you're not getting the ball, it don't make any difference. How many times he touched the ball in the first half? Hardly any. So unless you get some on the ball and you don't want to, in the air, first half, he's picking up Rodri. Not Rodri's picking up Foden. And this is what does my head in about, this is the tactics of England, is that Foden's following Rodri round the pitch to stop him playing. Now Gareth should just say, just stand wherever you want. Go and stand in space and wait. Let Rodri get on the ball. Let him do what he wants. We've got players at the back, and you make sure you hurt them more than Rodri does. In the end, Saka is picking up Cucurella. How's Saka picking up Cucurella? Now, when Cucurella goes, Saka should just stay, and then just go, I will hurt you much more than you'll hurt us. But they don't. It's so negative, it's scary. It is honestly scary.
Sounds to me like you are putting this down to Gareth Southgate.
Well, I will have to, but only time will tell, Jeff. Time will tell. We've had all the greatest managers. We've had Capello, one of the greatest managers of all time, and he couldn't get us anywhere. With a crop of players that, let's be honest, are better than these. Come on, Ashley Cole, he plays straight away.
Well, something that James has texted in and asked us about. He said, in his opinion, the 2004-2006 squads were both better than this squad. Did Gareth Southgate overachieve?
No, timings. Look at Spain's team when that team was about. Look at Germany's team. Look at France's team when they were about. They're not about all them German players and French players and Spanish players now. Like, how many of them Spanish players get in the World Cup and the European Championship winning teams? Probably none. Maybe Rodri, and that's about it. So that's where it hurts, is the timing. We missed the trick. The other generation, there was a lot of top countries around then. A lot. There's not now. Look at Italy. Italy went out. Didn't even have. I don't even know hardly any of their players. Do you know what I mean? Like, then they were amazing. The Spanish team, Iniesta, Xavi, people like that, Silva, people like, unbelievable. And that's what hurts me more than anything, is we missed a trick. And I think by the time the next one comes around, and I tell you why, we got no chance in the next one.
Why?
This is the reason. We can't keep the ball for Toffee. We can't keep the ball. How many times did we keep the ball the other night? All we kept on doing was kicking it long and they were losing it. If we kept the ball for 5 passes and it was a goal every 5 passes, we still wouldn't have scored. You've got to remember, we're going to America now. America's going to be 90-odd degrees. It'll be absolutely baking. And if you can't keep the ball and play at a lesser pace, you'll be home in no time. Be home in no time.
Don't you feel we can kick the ball? We just couldn't do it under this system because, basically our midfield was sitting so deep. They were sitting on top of Declan Rice and whoever was on side, maybe Kobe Mainoo, who was sitting on top of the back three stroke back four, and there was no room to play. There was no room to pass the football.
Yeah, because we suffocate the game.
Yeah.
I've said that before.
But with a different manager,
Spain
we may not do that.
Pit. Who's going to be the manager?
Well, we'll come to that in a moment.
Yeah, but that's what it's going to come down to. Who's going to be the manager, and who that manager? How's he going to play?
All right. Well, let's come to it right now. Then.
Yeah.
Who is going to be the manager? Because you said that nobody will want it, but I think there's a pretty long list of people who want it. If you look just at English-based managers, well, let's go through them one by one. See who you'd. Graham Potter.
Well, he went to Chelsea, and yeah. So people straight away are going to go, well, look what happened at Chelsea. But I do like him. And he might be an international manager. I think it might suit him. Not that he's a bit like Gareth. I don't think they need that week in, week out trouble.
Would you take him ahead of Eddie Howe? If Eddie Howe was interested, and bear that in mind because he's only 46 and he's at the club with huge potential.
Where do you think Newcastle come next season?
Well, certainly top 6.
Yeah?
Yeah. Where do you think they come?
I don't know. I don't know if they'll have to sell anybody yet. You've got one of the richest people in the world. And something's going on. The lady's just leaving. Why is she leaving?
I don't know. Amanda Savory, but she had a very small percentage of the.
Yeah, but surely,
the
people read the script quicker than other people. Do you know what I mean? I think it's going to be a hard one for Newcastle next year again. I think they got good players, but if you're already out 46, I think you take it.
So if Potter and Howe are both available, who'd you pick?
Well, the FA will look at the money situation, won't they? How much would I have to play for Eddie Howe? 30, 40 million? For Potter, he's a free transfer.
Well, that would then you ask the question about Lee Carsley, who's the head of the under-21s now and gives you some continuity.
No, I like Lee. I think he's been amazing. I think you keep on doing what he's doing there. No, I don't. I think, No, I don't.
I've got loads of others to suggest. Rob Edwards, who was England under-16 manager, he's done a good job now. I know it's Luton, but he's young, got progressive ideas. Good man manager. I'll take that as a no.
And debt coming in a minute, or what? No, I like Rob. Don't get me wrong, but no, he done what he done don't forget, he lost the last 25 games at Luton. Do you know what I mean? They lost. What did they lose? They lost their last 10, 11 football matches. They only had to win 1 or 2 of them. They'd have stayed up. So no.
Okay. Frank Lampard.
Yeah, I like Frank.
Finished fourth with Chelsea, got them to a cup final, done well at Derby.
I like the Frank situation. I think the big advantage what Gareth had, he played at tournaments. He lived the tournaments. He lived international football. I think it's a big advantage. Frank's been at tournaments, been deep in tournaments, been to tournaments, has really fancied and failed miserably. Big experience that is. I think that's a good shout. I like that shout. That's a good shout. You've gone from one extreme to another there. I mean, how you've done that, I do not know.
I climbed Everest there.
Yeah, I like the Frank Lampard one. I didn't think of that one, but I like that one.
And he would suit the FA as well because he's excellent with the media. He's excellent with young players. He's great in terms of his values.
Yeah, 100%. No, I like that.
I mean, people will look at whether an overseas manager will be.
No.
Well, you mentioned Capello before. He's still got the best win rate of any England manager.
Yeah, no.
What about if Jose was interested?
I like Jose, but
you've liked everyone so far.
No, of course I do. They're all top managers. They're all they're all better managers than what I was. So they're all good managers.
So what if Jose was interested?
No, and I only say that because all of a sudden England now we get to semi-finals, a final, a quarter-final, a final, and so we've had 2 back-to-back European finals. Now that's not enough. Now it's got to be entertaining. Now it's got to be like box office. Mourinho ain't going to give you box office. He'll get you to the final, 100% like Gareth did, but it won't be amazing. But this is what England want now. All of a sudden, we become one of these teams where we might win it in my lifetime. Now we're like, oh no, we don't want to win it. We want to be like the best team in the world who are going to beat everybody 4 and 5-0. That's cuckoo land. Cuckoo land. Everybody wants to beat England. Believe it or not, everybody turns up, wants to beat England. That is their big football match. England, Brazil. You want to beat them 2 teams. Everybody does. People don't realise that. You know, if you're Slovenia and Slovakia and Switzerland, everybody wants to beat England and they want to beat Brazil. They're the two teams everybody wants to beat.
I've got two more names for you. Jurgen Klopp and Mauricio Pochettino. They would be entertaining. Pochettino's not got a job.
He's Argentinian.
Klopp's not got a job.
He's Argentinian.
Yes?
What? He's Argentinian. I played against Argentina. They knocked us out in 1998. They hate England with a passion.
Yeah,
they hate England.
But Pochettino doesn't.
But you can't. You know my pet hate? This is my pet hate of all pet hates. The national anthem is there, and you've got the manager of your country, and he can't sing it because he's not that country. No, we're England. And I don't mean that thing, but it's England. This is a top-tier nation of a football team. I can understand if you're a San Marino or a Liechtenstein or someone like that, you go and get a German manager or an Argentinian manager or an England manager to come in, learn it, keep on, to get you up the ladder. But no, you just named all them managers and then you want to go with an Argentinian and German manager.
I'm only making suggestions.
When we're all sitting there and half the people go, well, why don't these players sing the national anthem like the rugby players do? And then you turn to the manager and the manager's like that.
Does it honestly matter if they don't sing the national anthem, if they have a winning team? Jurgen Klopp immersed himself in English culture when he's the Liverpool manager. Mauricio Pochettino, even be Argentinian, he hasn't got a job, but he still lives in England. He still chooses to live in England.
Would you want to be the manager of England? Would you want to be the manager of... If you're English, would you want to be the manager of Germany? Seriously, and beat England, like beat Germany in the semi-final or the quarter-final of the World Cup?
Yeah, no.
How would your dad feel?
Yeah, I take the point. I mean, I do take the point, but, if you're going to go and look for a top manager, some of them are going to be foreign managers. I mentioned Capello before. Of the 24 teams at Euro 2024, 6 of them had foreign managers. 6 of them thrown, so it's not unheard of, is it?
What countries were they?
Yeah, smaller, lesser countries.
You got to finish the conversation. That's my prime example is them lesser countries, rightly so, because they're bringing in someone with experience who can come and help them and get that country going, and fair play to them. They've done, a lot of their managers done really well. But I just think, I'm a great believer that they should have an English manager.
I'm going to support your point of view now because no team with a foreign manager has ever won a World Cup.
Really?
No. So there won't be a Gareth Southgate in charge at the next World Cup. We've been through a few names. I know you like everyone, but if you were in charge of selecting the next England manager, who would it be?
I go Frank Lampard.
Okay.
I go Frank. I think he ticks every box, and as the big advantage that Gareth had is he'd lived the tournament. It's a massive opportunity. You say Capello, and Capello's great, but none of the players liked him. No tomato sauce, no this, he was ruled with an iron rod. The players love Gareth, but he understands. Gareth sat in hotels for a month. He knows what it's like. What do you need? You can't keep on sitting in your room. Right, what can we do? And Frank's the same. Frank will know that feeling, when people, big game coming up, the quarterfinal, with the nerves, what he's got to do, how he felt when he was playing. Such a big advantage. Eddie Howe and Graham Potter never play for their country. It's hard to sit there and say to someone, you're going to be feeling like this or this. And yeah, I'll go Frank Lampard. I like that one.
Were there any England players, in your view, who would have got into the team of the tournament or come close?
No, not really. No, I wouldn't have said.
Okay. What about your player of the tournament? Who would that be?
I would have said Rodri. Mm-hmm. I don't think Spain win the World Cup without Rodri. I don't think they win it, but Rodri couldn't play for us because we closed the game up too much.
Yeah, and he's Spanish.
Yeah, and then where he's world class, and people use world class loosely. World class means, when you're talking about when you go, he's world class means you get in every single football team in the world. That's world class. So every team in the world you would get into in your position. And Rodri does.
So who are the other world-class players there?
What, for England?
No, for anybody. Because there's been a lot of criticism about the standard of the tournament.
Yeah, I said from the start that I don't think the tournament's great. The game's changed. It's power and pace. It's power and pace. It's power and pace. We got to start looking. I look at it now and I look and I think, I was in Spain the other month, and I had Real Madrid TV on. They're playing 10 aside, 10 aside, full-size pitch, big-size goals. Kids are about that big. They're running around. The pitch is huge, but they're getting in positions and they're having to run off the ball. They've got to move. If they don't move, they're not getting the ball. We play, and it's 6-a-side football still, 7-a-side on a pitch as big as this room, where someone gets the ball and beats the world and scores and everybody claps, and you're like, but that's not football. It's not going to happen. We've got to start again. Why is Spain doing this? Why do they keep the ball? Why do they move? There's movement. This is what I hear in academy football. I hear this from other teams. No, we get on the ball, we keep the ball, we pass, we dribble with it, and we'll start passing when they're 12. When they're fucking 12. You pass the ball now. That's when you see things. You see it now. We can't keep the ball. We don't keep the ball. And this is why it's flawed. We have to change. Well, that's why we're not winning tournaments.
But we said before the start, we've been saying throughout, that we've got a fantastic squad. Are we wrong?
We have a squad. We haven't got a team. We got a squad. We haven't got a team. We haven't got a team. This is the problem. Everybody wants to be the big shot. We haven't got a team. We are brought up in this country as individuals. It's individuals. You turn up at academies and it's, that player's got a chance, that player's got none, and they'll push him. Right. And it's individual, and that's all we do. We don't have a team. We have individuals. You just named all the individuals. Bellingham, Foden. They're all top players. Of course they're top players. But you got to be it's a team. We are not a team. England are not a team. They're not a team. You look at that. No one was worried about being a superstar at Spain. No one. That was a team. That's why all these teams. This is why the game's changing. That's why Slovenia and Slovakia and Switzerland and all that, and Turkey, and they're competitive. They're teams. They sit 10 behind the ball and they counter-attack as a team. But they're a team. Look at what did Portugal do this year?
Yeah.
Individuals. They've got individuals. They're not a team. They just got individuals, and they got a lad up front who had the same problem as England. He wasn't good enough. This tournament, he should have been left out, and the manager bottled it, and he didn't leave him out. And Gareth, let's be honest, he bottled it. He should have left Harry Kane out. We're playing with 10 men most of the time, and that hurts me because I'm one of his biggest fans. I love Harry. I think he's an amazing footballer, one of the best in the world in his position. But that's what happens. You can't play with 10 players. You can't play with 10 and a half. And then we're not a team. And that's why Portugal never won it. If Portugal would have changed their player up front, they'd have won it. Mbappe, he broke his nose. His nose. You'd have thought he'd just come back from a double leg break. He broke his nose. He never kicked the ball. All individuals again. Dembele, he went for 100 million quid, that kid. Fuck it, 100 million. He can't make a decision. The kid Yamal is 1,000 times better than him. They're all individuals. They all come on. They're all doing their own thing. They all want to be the superstar. Teams win. Spain are not. And this is the problem. Academy football's the same. They're all looking for individuals. We're not looking for the team. You go to places and a team will get demolished. Like Man City will go and demolish the team in like academy football. And they'll go back, how did you get on? Lost 3-0. Any better individuals? No. Okay. Well, but they're a better team. Don't matter how good you are, you've got to play on a team at the end. If not, go and play snooker or golf or tennis. And this is what we got. It's got to start down here. I'm seeing it in my own eyes. I see it with my own eyes. And this is the flaw. This is the flaw. We've got to get used to playing in a team.
Spain, the best team, you're absolutely right.
Well, they won every game.
Beyond question.
Yeah.
And they, along the way, they beat Croatia and they beat Italy and they beat Germany and they beat France and they beat England.
Yeah.
So they had a heck of a tough run. You said you were looking forward to when Nico Williams came up against Kyle Walker.
You know what? I thought Kyle Walker done well. I did. I thought he'd done all right. What I liked about the kid, he had a game. That's what I couldn't work. I thought he got the ball straight away and he just ran at Kyle Walker. I was like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? He's no show, no. He was unlucky with the Stones one. He gets Stones in the box and he squares him up and his touch took him forward instead of the side. And and Stone's done well and got a tackle in, but he was good. You know, I don't think Walker got roasted. I don't think he got slaughtered. You know, I thought the other kid was outstanding. People were telling me Shaw was really good and Shaw done well. The kid sets up the first goal with an unbelievable pass, but not just that, the way he drifts into that little pocket, gets the ball, runs across, perfect ball, great goal. You could have had 2 other goals, Yamal. Pickford makes a great save, and then the other one, it's a bad finish. And everybody's telling me, oh, Shaw done well. Well, how's he do well? Yamal, he missed 2 good chances and he set up one of the goals. I mean, you know, I just, this is what I don't get with us, you know, because he didn't go past him 15 times and leave him on his backside. Everybody thinks his job's done. The job ain't done like that. But you know why? And you know why the lad goes and scores at the other end and Yamal has 2 chances, sets up movement. They come off the line. You know, when did Saka ever come off inside? You know,
yeah. Look, let's bring it full circle because we started talking about Gareth Southgate saying he's not going to carry on as England manager. So what for Southgate now? Does he get a Premier League job?
No.
Not even if you talked about timing a lot. Let's, for instance, say that Manchester United do not have a great start to this season. You know, and they've obviously been linked with Gareth in recent times. Flaws or not, he's got England to the final. Would they not consider him if things are not going well?
I think the people have got to understand the fans. I think the fans go mad. That's my problem. Maybe next year when it's all forgotten, you know, I don't think in the next 3 or 4 months, I think that'll be a bit raw. And I think the fans, but in a year's time, I think we look back and we, you know, Gareth's done amazing. Then I think he might need a year out. But it's hard. You're in the Premier League. It's week in, week out. Turning up at international football, a couple of weeks here, a couple of weeks there. You know, you spend a lot of time with the family. You know, that all goes out the window. I'm quite shocked. I thought he might have sat on this. I think it's a bit harsh, a bit early. I thought he would have just gone on holiday and sat back and, you know, just, I think it's a bit too soon for me.
I just wonder whether, you know, over 8 years, you know, reaching a couple of finals, a semi-final, a quarter-final, as we know, whether he's done enough to deserve an opportunity to prove himself again at club level, because it's something that will still be on his CV. Had his spell at Middlesbrough, but he hasn't proved himself at club level. Be nice to think he would get the chance somewhere if he wants it.
Okay, I'll throw it back at you. You own Man United. Are you taking him?
I own Man United.
Are you taking him?
Now we are dreaming,
aren't we?
Are you taking him? Probably not.
Exactly. I'll rest my case.
We've reached the end of football's greatest Euros. My thanks to Paul Merson and to you out there as well for joining us. Please leave a review and follow us on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. We have one more episode to come, the last of our Q&A series. Send us your questions to footballsgreatest@foldingpocket.co.uk, or of course you can leave us a voice note on WhatsApp. Just call 0203 951 9653. 0203 951 9653. Football's Greatest Euros is a Folding Pocket production with BBC Studios.